let's talk books.
Ooh, yeah. I've been all around the world.
I've never done this before, guys. Talked about all the books I've read in 1 month. Yes, in 1 month. Alright, I'm just going to get right to it. You guys know that I am an avid reader, and a lot of people want to know, how do I read so many books in 1 month when, one, I have 2 channels that I'm always editing and uploading videos on. 2, I homeschool my son. 3, I do have a part-time job. And 4, just regular life of being a mom and a wife and maintaining a household. Reason, I don't really watch a lot of TV. I really don't. Now, this month I did read a little bit more than I normally do because with my surgery, I wasn't working in the month of April, and 2, because I couldn't go anywhere else. With the whole self-isolation thing, really, you can't go anywhere. So with the recovering of the surgery, and that is the only reason that I got to read this many books, and quite a few of these, are pretty thick. So normally it's not quite this much, but I had that opportunity and I went for it. So first off, I did finish my magazine, Our State magazine. It is a North Carolina magazine. I love these. I get these every month. There's so many places that I want to go to once they open back up, and I will put those type of videos up on our family channel, Life's a Whirlwind. You guys know that I read The Andrew Jackson and the Miracle of New Orleans. Several of us YouTubers got together and did not a book exchange, but we did something for World Book Day, and I will link that video at the very end of this. I've already talked about this book, sort of. You just have to watch that. Kind of what one person said, kind of a recap, synopsis maybe of the book. Now, another one that I had started. I actually started this one. Now, I did start this one in March, at the end of March, but I hadn't got very far of it because basically the first 2 weeks after my surgery, I just couldn't stay awake long enough to read very much, still coming out of that whole anesthesia thing. And yeah, I just couldn't stay awake a lot. So I did start that one then. Anyway, so the book Woman of Troublesome Creek. Now, first of all, you're going to notice that this is a soft cover. I am not a big soft cover person. I want my hardbacks. I just prefer reading those. And I prefer reading them, and books to me are, I collect books, so I want them to look good on my shelf. I want to decorate with them, so I need sturdier books. That's the reason why. But anyway, this book has not came out in hardback yet, or even if it does, who knows, but I had to get it. I had no idea that they were actually blue people at one point in Kentucky. Actually, it's a rare, and I'm sure there's still people out there that have that genetic. It's a rare genetic thing. But there's actually, they know how to treat that now, where back then they did not know how to treat it. And they actually considered the blue people of Kentucky, because it basically kind of started around one family, or 2 families, kind of, like 2 families. They kind of like merged, and something with their genetics, and it turned their blood blue, so it made them look blue. And they actually called them colored back then because they weren't Caucasian, so anybody that wasn't Caucasian were colored, and they were treated as such. But anyway, even though it is a fiction book, this woman is fiction, it is based on Okay, there are pictures in here. Where are the pictures? I want to show you guys these pictures. Where are they? Oh my gosh. Where are the pictures? Oh, there they are. They're at the end. I'm like, what in the world? So in this book, they show you not any of the blue people. They're talking about the pack horse librarians. And what happened is Kentucky, they really didn't have a, you know, the people that lived so far out in the middle of nowhere, they didn't have access to libraries. They actually had women that would deliver them on horseback or sometimes mules to these houses that, and it wasn't just books, because they didn't always have many books. They pamphlets, newspapers, articles, and then what they would call scrapbooks, where people would just put together family recipes. Well, the librarian would gather from other people family recipes, articles, things like that, letters, and put them together as scrapbooks, and they would lend those out to the people. And they would go, and so they would go drop off some, pick up some, and this is some children, that was basically the only way that they had access to any type of reading material. So they actually included real pictures of some of those women back then. They included a map of where the public library service actually went out, or where they were included in the state of Kentucky. This was just a really, you know, it's kind of like a historical fiction because it's based on true events, just with made up characters, basically, in this book. Okay, let's get to the next one. So, Hidden History of Florida. Again, there are no hardback books in the Hidden History of different, I don't know if all the states, I know there's like a North Carolina one, but and I actually haven't even read this one, the North Carolina one. This is the only one I've read, and I basically wanted this book for research for some places that I will be visiting in the next year. Hopefully, we'll see how things are going. Again, that I will be posting those things on the Life's a Whirlwind channel. And for Dead Queens, I received this book in an Owl Crate subscription box, which means that there is a page that has been signed by the author. It's included in the Owl Crate editions. If you're familiar with this book, you might notice that the cover is a little bit different, and that is because with Owl Crate exclusive books, well, book covers, they change the covers and make them a little special than the ones you would get in bookstores. Before I even talk about this book, I'm going to talk about the author. This is her first novel, and she is pretty well Disney obsessed. Her pets are called Lilo and Mickey, and she was basically fascinated by growing up by Disney and Steven Spielberg movies. But I do want to read a couple things from her acknowledgement, just to prove how much of a Disney fanatic she is. She says, "To Mom and Dad, you taught me that dreams don't always come true like in the movies. It requires more than wishing upon a star or a fairy godmother's bippity boppity boo." Sound familiar? And then right here in the second to the last paragraph, there's a very special person that she wanted to thank. "I must also acknowledge and thank Walt Disney. Without you, I would not be the person I am today, and I would not believe in the power of magic and enchantment of storytelling." This was a great book. This book is about a 17-year-old who's basically a professional thief, and there's these 4 lands that are run by 4 different queens, and oh my gosh, the 4 queens are murdered, and she ends up having to try and figure out who murdered them. And yeah, I won't say anything else other than if you do enjoy fantasy, then I do definitely recommend this book. So I have another thick book here, over 400 pages, that I'm actually not going to share what it is yet, because in a few weeks I will be doing a special book vlog in with some other people. So I can't disclose that book quite yet, and I will be doing quite a little like type synopsis type thing on this. Last up, oh my gosh, the Queens of Animation. I got this for I think Christmas or either Valentine's Day. I really can't remember which one I got it from. I have lots of little pages here. But as you can see, it is the untold story of the women who transformed the world of Disney and made cinematic history. I feel like I want to go into more detail about this book, and I think I will. I think I'm going to end up doing a vlog on just this book, but it's just great. It takes a while to read, but the details, the things I have learned. I loved that they actually used historical pictures from the back in those days, and yes, everything, Mary Blair. It's not just talking about these women and their stories. It's talking about a little bit about their personal lives and things that were going on. I mean, did you know there was actually a pilot that broke a record? Yes, a female pilot that broke a record, that was basically struggling for her place in the Disney animation department. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to do a whole separate video on this. So informative. Anybody that wants to read about Disney history, this is a great book. Now, for people that are not into a lot of details or history, they may find this slow. But that's okay, because there's people like us out there that will read it for you and give you some details about it, like I said, in a vlog coming up. So subscribe and hit that bell notification so you know when I actually upload that video, to give you, oh my gosh, there's just some crazy facts like that I didn't know, and just because of the times that it was, just because of that time frame, things that would never happen nowadays that happened back then. So I hope you will join the Mouse Diva family so you don't miss any upcoming content, whether it be Disney related content or just me, Mouse Diva content. I hope that you and your family are doing well, and when the parks open back up, I will see you at the parks.
I've been all around the world, every